Most people know Jaclyn Schultz as Miss Michigan 2013, but few people know that she has a rare syndrome that caused her to be born without a uterus. My name's Stephanie Steinberg, and I'm assistant editor for U.S. News and World Report, Health and Money. As a Michigan native myself, I'm very excited to have Miss Michigan join me today to talk about her experience with MRK.
Thank you for having me.
Now, to begin with, can you first describe it's MRKH, right?
Yes, MRKH.
Okay. And what does that stand for, and what is it?
It's named after the 4 physicians who first diagnosed the syndrome. And basically it is a congenital condition, which means that it's present at birth, and it means that you were born without a uterus and a cervix. So this occurs in approximately 1 in 4,500 women around the world, and I'm one of them.
So this is not common at all.
It's not common, but it's not rare.
Okay. Now, how did you find out that you had this?
I was diagnosed when I was 16, and most girls are diagnosed between the ages of 13 and 18 when they fail to menstruate. So since I was always in sports growing up, I was really thin and tall. I'm 6 foot. So they thought that it was just because I didn't have enough body fat to start my period. So I went to my family physician, and they wanted to do an ultrasound, and they found that I didn't have a uterus. And at first they didn't know what the condition was called. So that time in my life was really hard, because hearing a doctor say, like, well, we don't know why you don't have a uterus, or we don't know what it's called and how to put a name on it, it's really isolating, and it's scary, and it causes anxiety, and that's just a hard time for teenage girls anyways. So to hear that, it's tough.
I can't imagine. Is it something that you told your friends about, or did you keep it to yourself?
I kept it to myself for most of high school, and then when I got into college I started talking more about it, and then now obviously I'm coming out with it, because it's really nothing to be ashamed about. And that's the whole thing with MRKH girls and women, is that it's not talked about. So it puts this stigma on it that it's a bad thing, and it's not a bad thing. It's just something that makes all the MRKH women unique, and it's not a bad thing. So I wanted to come out with it.
And now you've become the spokesperson for the foundation, correct? There's a foundation called Beautiful You MRKH. So
Yep.
Have you met a lot of other women with the same condition as you, and can you sort of explain your role in that?
Yeah, so let me start with the pageant. I had never been in a pageant before when I entered the state competition, and I did not think I would win, and I ended up winning. So about 3 months after I won, I'm like, well, what can I do this year with my title? And it was kind of a struggle. I didn't know if I should come out with it or not, because it's something that's really personal. And I found a Beautiful You, and the girls are amazing. One is a geneticist at Purdue, and she's been great helping me along with the journey and everything. And then the other co-founder is Christina, and she's very involved with helping the girls in the sister-to-sister mentoring program. And it's just been a great experience talking with girls, because it's not just in the U.S., it's all over the world. And I've had women from Ireland and Sweden and Australia message me thanking me for coming out with this, because no one has before. And it's just been a little overwhelming and really humbling to know that, I'm giving the girls a little bit of inspiration to know that, they're not alone. And because when I was diagnosed, I thought that I was the only person with it. And up until 7 months ago, I had never even spoken to anyone with MRKH. So when I found the community of girls, it was amazing.
Now, so did this influence your decision to run for Miss Michigan at all?
No, like I said, I didn't even think that I wanted to come out with it, just because it's so personal. So, I mean, I'm really glad that I did try for Miss Michigan, and then it led to this.
Okay. So while competing, this didn't come up during the pageant or anything like that?
No.
Do you think, I know now you're going to be competing in Miss USA.
Yeah.
That's coming up in June.
June 16th, live on NBC.
Are you going to talk about that at all during the competition, do you think?
I mean, if the opportunity presents itself, I definitely will, but there is a video that the public can vote on, and that's on MissUSA.com, and I talk about it a little bit on there, so vote for Michigan!
All right. And so lastly, what is the hardest thing sort of living with this syndrome? Is it the fact that you can't have children, or just that not as many women have it? So
I mean, I think that the hardest part, because everyone at some point in their life feels isolated and alone and different, and that was probably the hardest part for me, finding out about it and just feeling different in a way, but the support group just really helps. And I mean, we're genetically female. We can have our own children. We are fertile with ovaries and eggs, so we can have a surrogate or adopt if that's, everyone has their own decisions and choices to make. But I think that just the feeling of isolation and the initial shock and the language that's used, because not a lot of doctors know what it was a big part for me in the beginning. But getting over the hurdle was, a great accomplishment, just to accept it.
Well, that's great that you've come out and you've agreed to be sort of a face for this.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us today, and we wish you luck and Miss USA 2013.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.